Now, I played a lot of games growing up, and some games are meant to be played, but there's some that you really shouldn't. And I know I've told a lot of them on this channel, like for example, 7 Minutes in Heaven, or even Truth or Dare. But this one game, Spin the Bottle, is something you don't play in school. Yo, what is going on, you guys? My name's Bubba, and welcome back to another crazy but super embarrassing story. Now, this story all takes place back when I was in middle school. Now, middle school for me was one of like the most weirdest times ever because I was an innocent child that really did a lot of rebellious things. What do I mean by this? Well, basically, I was one of those kids where I would skip school just to play Call of Duty. Yeah, kind of doing a bad deed to do such a simple, kind-hearted deed, like killing people on video games. But honestly, one thing I will say was that I never really liked school growing up, and still to this day, I don't like school. Comment down below if you guys enjoy school, but for me, it was never my thing. But stay in school, 100%, just saying, stay in school. Going on though, I remember one time in my middle school years, there was a time where I walked inside my main homeroom classroom. And when I walked inside, right away, I ended up seeing one of my friends, and we're just gonna call him Tyler for this video. Tyler ends up walking up to me saying, "Yo, Bubba, I was just wondering, man, did you hear the news?" No, what's the news? "You didn't see the whiteboard outside? Bro, there's a school sleeping happening." And that's when Tyler ended up telling me how people stay in school after school to basically get ready to sleep inside the school. I know I said school like 5 times there, but the fact that, you know, teachers are okay with keeping the students in longer and even sleeping in the same building as a bunch of children, it sounds weird when I explain it, but I think we've all had school sleep-ins where basically the school invites you to sleep in at the school and have like a giant sleepover full of your high school or middle school students. It happens in high school too, but you know, it just sounds really odd. Anyways, when Tyler explained this to me, I remember I looked at it and I'm like, "You want to stay here and sleep and stay the night?"
Well, I don't know if I'm allowed to go, but honestly, a lot of people are going. And did you hear that Stacy's going?
Wait, what? Stacy's gonna be there?
Yeah, dude, like you should go.
If you guys don't know who Stacy is, I just made that name up, but we're just gonna call her my middle school crush. Obviously, I don't use real names in these stories for anyone wondering, or if you're one of my IRLs and people I know in real life, I respect your privacy. So stop spam DMing me. And by the way, if you guys are fans of the channel, don't go on my Instagram and try to find them. Seriously, it's not cool. Anyways, I remember when he told me Stacy was gonna be there, I freaked out. I'm like, dude, there's no way, like, I gotta go. I'm not gonna lie, since my grade 6 year, I've had a crush on Stacy. And you know what's crazy? Even now to this day, even when I'm 24 years old now, I still kind of have a crush on Stacy. Once again, her name's not actually Stacy. Don't try to search her up. Going on from there, I remember right away, the bell ended up ringing for class to start. And the teacher walks in front of the classroom, and right away he says, "All right, students, I know you guys are all excited for the school sleep-in happening. Here's your permission slips. Make sure you guys get that signed and brought back to school tonight. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the school sleeping. But anyways, let's get straight to work." I remember I ended up getting this permission slip, and I'm like, you know, hyped up and everything. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Like, I'm sure my parents will let me go. And right away, when lunchtime finally hit, I ended up going to the bathroom, grabbed my iPod that I had, and I ended up messaging my parents on iMessage. I messaged them saying, "Hey, Mom, Dad, is it cool if I, you know, do the school sleep-in?" "What is this sleep-in in school thing you're talking about?" And then that's when my mom messaged me that this is a conversation to have back at home. So right away at that moment, I started to worry because there was no way my parents, you know, were gonna not let me go, but at the same time let me go, because my parents wanted me to be in school and like school more, but at the same time they were kind of just worried the part where I had to sleep in the school. Anyways, going on, I remember I started to worry, and when after school came around, I rushed straight home. When I got home, I walked up to my mom and said, "Hey Mom, can you sign this permission slip? Let me see what this is, Baba." She ends up grabbing the permission slip and she's like, "Sleeping in school, parent supervision. Why do you want to go, Baba?" "All my friends are going, Mom, and honestly it'd be super fun," is what I told her. But my mom was still worried. To be fair, I don't blame her. Letting your middle school child sleep inside of school sounds kind of crazy. But also, not only just that, I had Middle Eastern parents growing up, so they were automatically more strict. So at that moment, I ended up telling my mom how I'll be totally safe and how there's supervisors, teachers, and there's nothing that's gonna ever happen to me in a school. My mom ended up finally just agreeing because I ended up saying to her how if I don't go, I'm just gonna end up playing video games anyway. So she ends up signing on the paper and handing it back to me. But she tells me, and make sure she tells me, "One text message of anything and I will be at the school to pick you up." "I'll be fine, Mom. Don't worry." Little did I know, later on that night, things got a little bit weird. Because I remember I ended up hopping my Xbox for a bit, ended up playing with the boys, and I ended up asking if any of them were going. Sadly, Tyler wasn't allowed to go, but everyone else was, and we all ended up basically planning to meet up at front of the school and go inside and, you know, enjoy the school sleep-in. So around the time when it became like around 7:30, that's when I ended up starting to pack my sleeping bag and pack up all the things I needed for the school sleep-in. In reality, we just needed to come in with with pajamas that we wore, and on top of that, just have like a blanket and pillow so we can just pass out somewhere. So right away, when I got everything packed, I ended up getting my dad to drive me to the school, and when I got there, I waited in front of the school for my friends to show up. One of my buddies, we're just gonna call him Cole in this video, he ends up walking up to me being like, yo bro, you ready for this sleep-in? Yeah dude, I'm super excited, it's gonna be so much fun. And we ended up walking inside, and that's when our teacher ended up walking up to us saying, what are you guys doing here? You guys are supposed to take the gym entrance. Oh, sorry. We ended up going to the gym entrance, and right away we realized that the school sleep-in was literally just like a movie night with just a bunch of people sleeping in the gymnasium. No joke, that gymnasium smelled so bad and so disgusting that like it kind of just grossed me out. But I remember we ended up just going in there anyway. We ended up just hanging out with everybody that we knew, and it became basically one giant classroom full of kids in middle school in pajamas. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it was basically Diddy's dream. Is that too much to say? Could I get canceled for that? Honestly, I don't care. Going on, I remember as me and my buddy Cole were sitting down just hanging out, and we were just honestly on our iPods playing Angry Birds. Right away, a girl ends up just randomly walking up to me. Now this girl that walked up to me, I didn't really know who she was or what she was doing, but she ends up handing me a piece of paper that's folded with my name on it. I ended up grabbing it, and I'm like, oh, thanks. And then she ends up looking over at Cole, and then just looks back at me and says, see you later, and walks away. At this moment, I'm like, what? And then afterward, Cole tells me just open the letter and see what it is. I ended up opening this piece of paper, and right away, I ended up reading, Baba, meet us under the bleacher when it's lights out. XOXO. At this moment, Cole ends up reading it since he's right beside me, and he's like, dude, yo, you're getting invited under the bleachers, dude. Why? What happens under the bleachers? Bro, you don't understand what happens under the bleachers? And at this moment, he ends up telling me this magical story about how he got his first kiss under the bleachers, and he tells me it's where couples go to become couples, whatever that means. So I'm looking at Cole super confused, and then one thing leads to another. Our teachers end up putting a movie on the giant projector, and we all ended up getting snacks and watching this movie. Surprisingly enough, they ended up putting a really weird movie. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Back to the Future, but basically it's about time traveling and stuff. It's a really iconic movie, but Back to the Future, they ended up playing it on the screen, and we all sat there enjoying the movie. And on the end credits of the movie, they ended up actually leaving the lights off, and they ended up putting on the announcements, students, time for the sleep-in. Have a good night. See you guys in the morning. At this moment, they left the lights off, and honestly, a lot of students were actually crying for their parents, funny enough, and I think over like 12 students got picked up by their parents because they were too scared to sleep alone. Yeah, those guys were made fun of the rest of the entire school year, but me, I was trying to play my cool, and I'm like, you know what, like, I'm just gonna pass out right here and slowly go to sleep. But as I'm laying down on my pillow, Cole ends up grabbing me by the shoulder, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? You can't go to bed. Bro, look what those girls are doing. We ended up seeing like around 4 different girls that I knew, funny enough, going behind the bleachers of our gymnasium. And if you guys don't know, like, our gymnasium had like here's like a picture of it, I guess, or I guess a drawing that I'm giving my editor to put on here. But basically like this whole like area right here is like bleachers. Okay, so like it's not part of the full-on gymnasium, but you can go under there or behind there. And I remember when Cole ended up pointing this out that they were going back there, I'm like, do I go? Like, are you sure this note's real? I think you should go, bro. Like, you might as well see what's up. So at this moment, I'm like, okay, you know what? Whatever. I'm gonna go. So I ended up standing up, and I ended up actually going back there with them. When I got back there, right away, one of the girls starts giggling, and I get embarrassed. And I'm like, oh, am I not supposed to be here? No, you came just on time. Here, take a seat. We all ended up sitting down in like a circle. And right away, it was me and 4 other girls. And this girl, she ends up going into her bag that she brought, and she ends up pulling out a bottle. And she places it down, and she says, Baba, do you know what this is? No. What is it? Baba, you never played Spin the Bottle? No. What do you do in Spin the Bottle? Do you just like spin it and like, you know, treat it like a fidget spinner? Like, what are you supposed to do? At this moment, the girls all start laughing at me, and then that's when Stacy comes up right behind me and says, oh, looks like we got a new player. At this moment, I look at her, and I instantly start blushing and getting nervous because once again, Stacy was my middle school crush. So when I saw her, I'm like, oh, like, what's going on, Stacy? We're playing Spin the Bottle. Right. Yeah, I knew that is what I said to her. And then right away, one of Stacy's friends, we're gonna call her Cassidy, ends up saying the rules. Cassidy explains that wherever the bottle lands on is who you're supposed to kiss. So right away at that moment, I'm like, wait, I'm the only guy here. Yeah, we had to choose a guy to play with us because some of us don't want to kiss each other. At this moment, I started to realize that for some reason, girls are super comfortable kissing each other. While guys, I'm not gonna lie to you, as much as I'm a bro, I would never kiss another dude. Like, I'm not gay. So at this moment, I get super excited, and then right away, Stacy looks at me and says, well, Bubba, you're the new guy here, so you spin it first. I ended up grabbing the bottle and spinning it. And guess who it lands on? Oh, you guys thought I was gonna say Stacy? No, it lands lands on Cassidy, one of her friends. At this moment, I'm not gonna lie, Cassidy was kind of chopped, but I obeyed the rules of the game and I ended up actually, funny enough, reaching in for a kiss and she kisses me. Not gonna lie, super weird. Wasn't my first kiss, to be fair. It was super weird kissing my crush's friend. And right as I thought things couldn't get weirder, right away it was Stacy's turn to spin the bottle. And Stacy ends up spinning it, and guess who it lands on? It lands on me. You guys thought I was gonna say it this time, but it actually did end up landing on me. And right away, Stacy ends up giving me a weird look, and she's like, "Oh, you just kissed my friend though. So if I kiss my friend, wouldn't it count as me kissing you?" Right away at that moment, I wanted to be like, "What? No, it doesn't. You have to kiss me." At the same time though, I didn't want to like, seem weird or like, not nonchalant, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I mean, I don't know. It's up to you, really. Right away, Cassidy's like, "Oh my goodness, yeah, kiss me instead." So Cassidy, thanks a lot. You ruined it all for me, but they end up kissing each other afterwards. Right away though, right after they finish kissing, the gymnasium lights turn on. And these girls are all holding their mouths, like trying to like be quiet to make sure no noise comes out. So at this moment, I'm like panicking and I'm like, yo, like what is going on? Why are the lights on? And apparently the teachers ended up turning on the lights because apparently students were sneaking out of the gymnasium and like going to the cafeteria to steal food, which to be fair, it is actually a pretty good idea, but don't do it. I mean, it's not something anyone should do. So as the teachers are like taking attendance once again, me and these girls that are under the bleachers are like freaking out. And in my mind, I'm thinking, yo, like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And right away, I ended up hearing the teacher asking Cole, do you know where Bubba is? He was supposed to be here, wasn't he? Yeah, he's somewhere around here. I think he went to the bathroom. Okay, well, let him know when he comes back. I need to speak to him. So at this moment, I'm like, dude, like, I'm in trouble. Great. And that's when I decided to slowly crawl out of being under the bleachers and running straight to the bathroom. The girls all wanted to follow me, but I told them I was going to the bathroom and that there was no way they could follow me. So I ended up running in there. I sit in the toilet, totally panicking, and then the teacher ends up walking in saying, "Bubba, are you in here?" And at that moment, that's when I said, right here, I'm just taking a poop. What's going on? "Bubba, your mom's at the front. She's worried about you. She wants you to come home. Tell her I'll be right there." So at that moment, I ended up, pretending that I washed up, and I basically walked out of the bathroom to the front of the school where my mom was. My mom looks at me and she's like, "Bubba, are you okay? What happened?" And I'm like, "Nothing, Mom. Like, why are you worried? I didn't text you." And that's when my mom ended up showing me her phone, and apparently I texted her the letter H. She thought it meant help, when in reality, I texted her, if that's even a thing. I have really no idea. But I ended up going home that day because my mom just told me since she's there, she might as well just take me back to my own bed. Honestly, I will say it made me really nervous to play Spin the Bottle, but I think that's just one of many weird experiences I've had. But if you guys enjoyed the video, click on one of the videos on screen and follow for more embarrassing stories just like this one. Peace out, guys.